much of directing at the highest levels in this business is about skills you have at your craft versus people skills and politics?
So I had a meeting for a show or for a network rather last week, and we got into a conversation about soft skills, right? Which are what we were kind of talking about earlier. Like, you can have the best shot list in the world, but the soft skills help you get somebody out the trailer, help you convince somebody that the work they're doing is great, help you, deal with whatever scenario that might arise, right? I think that a director without humanity is going to have challenges doing their job. Because, I think back to being younger and you're just so focused on, got to get the shot. Like, why, if everybody would just come here and do what I'm ready to do, we could get, you know what I mean? Like you're just, it's all about getting this thing done. You're feeling the burdens and the pressure of the money, because you're probably over leveraged and you're tired, and why won't they just do what I want them to do? And, that is also natural when you don't have the tools to, deal with the pressures of the job. But I think as you learn them, you do recognize that those soft skills are key. And look, I've done episodes as a guest director where I've been brought to a show to direct an episode. And that is, at that point, they think that you can do it. They think you're competent and you won't mess up their show, right? Then there comes a point where, like, now I'm a producing director on a show and a co-executive producer. Now they're saying, well, we think you're someone that can help work with all the directors we'll hire, can help, be a liaison between post and the producers for the creative. Now that's a different person in terms of skills, right? Then there's the, pilot director, like I have a pilot I'm attached to. That's a different thing because they're looking for someone who can do both of those things while also, maybe have a little more ownership of it as a director than a guest director because you're creating a look for a show. So you're marrying like so many different parts of what you do, and knowing when and why to apply pressure, I think is the director's challenge.
Can you tell us about how to politic and what is that?
Mm-hmm. I think how to politic, I think is that same kind of answer, like knowing when to apply pressure. Some things, when I was working as faculty, I used to be in a lot of meetings, and I would just I had a joke where it's like, people can talk about whatever they want until it sounds like there's about to be a policy change that's going to affect the job I do. I can sit here and be unmoved because I don't know why that person may be performing what they're doing right now. Maybe they're making a stance for some reason I have no idea about. And this person has tension with them, and that person always says something, and this person doesn't want to, reveal what they don't, all these things. But the moment it sounds like there's about to be a new pile of work on my desk, well, now I have a thought, And so I just kind of learned, like, read the room and see what's really happening and whether or not something impactful is happening, something performative is happening, and whether or not what you might be getting ready to say matters or is going to have an impact. And I think that was one of the best things that again, I didn't know I was learning, but I think that was one of the best things I learned being in like a university environment. And so I try and, maintain vigilance in reading a room and seeing what's happening and whether or not, and measuring my response to get what I'm looking to get. And that's not, I'll flip this and say, that's not to say that everything is a manipulation and everything, but, I can remember one time being called into a trailer, hair and makeup trailer, with like, showrunners, star actor, actress, and like hair and makeup. And I'm being asked all these questions and I'm like, what's happening? And it was about a scene that we had agreed to shoot a certain way. And then I'm listening and listening and listening. And I'm like, oh, what I'm recognizing here, because I'm not like being super responsive to like the fact, like, first off, we've already talked about this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying, okay, talk. Because I know the more you talk, the more I'm going to get something that I can begin to understand. And, I don't know if it was 3 minutes or 10, it felt like 30, but I was like, oh, it sounds like to me, and my guess here, that this actress wants the body double, but doesn't want to ask for it. And I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And I said, well, why don't we just do the body double, blah, blah, blah. Because there were all these things connected, it seemed to her, for that request. You know what I mean? And like, I noticed that our relationship kind of got that much better after that. And I was just reading the room and trying to be like, I could say we've talked about it 3 times, but like, does that matter? So I think it's allowing people to be people, you know what I mean? And trying to be aware of like the multiple ways you can get to an end result that maintains the integrity of what you set out to do.
So there's not just subtext on the page, there's some on set too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What if we think we have soft skills, but we really don't? How does the production show us that? How do other people show us that we actually don't have the soft skills we thought we had?
Well, that makes me reach for the book.
Oh,
actually.
good. Okay.
Because in the book, in the introduction, because as with anything, you write something, and for me, I want to go like, well, what will make you listen to this, right? And so in the introduction, here we go. There are 3 questions that I'll actually read you because it's not a long thing. In 2014, after 6 unsuccessful years of unrealized efforts to break into episodic television directing, I asked myself a series of probing existential questions. And I think these 3 questions answer the question about like, what if you think you've got soft skills, but things aren't happening? I asked, what's not working? What if everything I'm doing is wrong? And how can I pivot? So if you think that you've got those skills, but you ask yourself what's not working, and you look and you say, well, my films do well, but like, this isn't happening. Maybe it's that. Maybe I don't know the industry and the mechanics of the business well enough. Maybe I keep making films that if I had read the trades, I could have seen that there were already 2 films in development about that thing, and mine was never going to compete. I think those kind of questions that demand self-reflection help you avoid getting mired into something that you think is what it's not.
Can we learn soft skills? Can we learn how to... we all think we know how to work with other people, but sometimes life shows us that that's not the case.
I think we can learn them. I had to learn them. Yeah, I think I had some handful of them, but to your earlier question, like, like if I would have been offered TV coming out of Sundance, it would have been different, you know? And so I think, and over the next, you know, years, and even, you know, I learned a new soft skill last week, I'm sure, you know? I think the thing, it's not the ability to learn, it's the appetite to learn, right? Because we can keep learning until the day we die, you know, but if we think that we've got it all figured out, then it's off the table.